Welcome to the Iris Hills of Brooklyn, Michigan for today's FedEx Xfinity Series coverage. I'm Cameron Chandler, joined by Matthew White and Brayton Hunsicker. And you may be wondering where Ethan Tremler is on this beautiful July evening. And we're pretty tired of Ethan Tremler in the booth, so we'll be taking over for today. We'll have Andrew Stacy and Landon Johnson joining us today for end race reporting, as we see Joseph Lewis heading into turn 3 here at Michigan.
Could be a fun day. Pride of Michigan. It's gonna be a great race, I think, for the NASCAR FedEx Xfinity Series. This track has shown great potential the past few seasons. These drivers, it's always been a great finish, great battles, and I'm expecting a lot today.
After last week's race at Chicagoland, many of your championship frontrunners were involved in wrecks and scored very little points. So it's going to be interesting to see how many of these guys will be able to recover and regain the points that they lost last week.
Speaking on points, currently the fourth place in points is not currently in the lobby, so that could lead to some more playoff complications. Could lose a lot of points for Brandon T. Pfeiffer. Yeah.
Definitely not something you want to see midway through the season, as here we have the 88 of Landon Johnson down the front straightaway, a beautiful patriotic scheme as we're about 2 days away from the 4th of July. Brody Webster getting back on track. It's been a while since we've seen that 88 McDonald's car.
There you have Ortega coming down the front stretch. I would like to say some words about this driver, but I'm not going to. He's currently leading the Xfinity standings and just looking for a good day. He's 4th on the board right now.
Yeah, Alexander Ortega. The Herklot sideways and one car hard into the wall. That's the 96. As Alexander Ortega will slam into him, and he'll also hit the wall. A big crash on the back straightaway. But back to what we were saying about Alexander Ortega. He's had a rough race last week at Chicagoland. Got involved with the 76 of Justin Rout and spun him around and took out multiple cars down the front straightaway. But was able to rebound the very next day in the Cup race. His first ever start, won the race. And that's going to give him some momentum going into this week here at Michigan, as we have a 3-wide battle down the front straightaway, 288 cars.
I think one of them is Landon Johnson, and I don't know who the other one is. But wide Youngblood's in the middle. He's sticking him with him pretty well. As you can see, that outside lane may be pretty good, but it looks like it's real loose out there. Maybe after the weather changes a bit, once we head into the actual race time. There's more 3-wide action. They split off into 2-wide. A lot of people testing out different lines today. See that 25 car is extremely loose. Oh, and there goes the 88 into the grass. And there's another car on the wall.
And yeah, Brody Webster.
Like 12 car.
Brody Webster slams into the pit barrels. But so far, a massive difference from what we saw last year. A lot of drivers last season are dealing with extreme tightness, and right now it seems really loose. A lot of guys getting sideways, and normally that's a good sign for a lot of drivers. A lot of drivers normally like a looser car, and normally creates better racing.
As we ride along with the 45 car, he is leading the practice with a time of 39.274, around a 10th faster than Cole J. Wilson here. Looks like he has his car under control. It looks real nice, even when he's battling with that orange car. I think that's not the Richard Cherry. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, that is Richard Cherry in the 29. Throwback to Fernando Alonso's 2018, I believe, Indy 500 car. Not exactly.
Malone is leading the practice, but we were told before the race Malone is not very good in this Xfinity car, and he typically burns his tires off. So while he is on the board by about 9/10 of a sec or 9/100 of a second, don't let that fool you. It could mean he has a slower pace on the long run.
I think today definitely. Practice lap times don't matter compared to different tracks. They don't matter as much. I really think one of these guys, as we have the 31 of Rowan Suarez spinning on the back stretch. I really think practice times doesn't really matter. It's all down to race. If you can save tires, as you can see, people are loose. So that means the right rear is going to get real worn, and hopefully we're going to see a good pit strategy and good racing.
Yeah, you talk about those tires. Tires always an important factor in these races, especially at the bigger tracks. But this is also a track that matters a little bit less, as we see Verjon Koch pull out into the pits. But this track has such long straightaways. The draft normally can help you if you burn up your tires and allow you to keep up with the field. See Maddox Beard and Zane Vyman getting a little bit sideways. He'll bring it on into the pits, almost making contact with the wall.
Now, normally here in Michigan, you don't really see the top line being the fastest, but especially with looser cars, you're going to see cars move up the track, because that's where their loose is going to feel the best. The lower down you go, the more loose you're going to feel.
One car hard into the inside wall. Multiple cars.
Take him alone. 64 car. That 25 car has been real loose since the start of practice. I really don't know. Hopefully we can get a good... Oh, man. Man, they're getting real loose on the exit. That's the 2 car of... That's the 2 car. William Viola in the inside wall. Greg Holes, 4 starts, 4 points. He really needs a good points day out here. He disqualified from this, did not start Daytona, failed to get points in USA, wrecked in Fontana, and Darlington he also did not show up due to I think his pedal's breaking. So yeah, he'll be looking for a good points day today.
Speaking on points, Maddox Beard is about, I say, 15 points below the cut line. He needs a really good day if he wants to be in that fight for the number 8th spot in the standings.
Yeah, one thing that's going to help him out, TJ Moon, who normally is in that 9 car, I do not believe he's registered for the lobby so far, so as long as Maddox Beard can get a decent amount of points today, he will be able to at least jump him, and that'll help him a little bit out on that cut.
Yeah, currently major battle on the bubble. We have around a 8 to 10 point gap between 12th and 6th place. 6th place being Michael Gregory and 12th being Wyatt Youngblood. It's gonna be a fierce fight in the mid pack to try to get at least some assurance of maybe making the playoffs. Steve Erlenman did great last season. I think he could get some good gave a good points day. Same goes with Wyatt Youngblood. I think he was decent around here. So I think experience matters at this track. Cameron Chandler was talking about the draft a few minutes ago. Yeah, that could definitely help out with some fun battles. Yeah.
We don't call Michigan a draft track either. This is considered just a bigger 1.5 or 2 mile, I believe. But the draft is going to really matter the more this race, especially on the short runs. You're going to see a lot of cars close together, and that's going to provide a lot of draft racing. So if you're stronger at those those plate tracks, you're probably gonna be a little stronger here too.
Yeah, last season we saw Cole Wilson, your super speedway merchant, struggles on majority of the other tracks, but got one of his few wins here at Michigan, and just one of the examples of drafting merchants doing better. As there was a decently sized crash in turn 3. Multiple cars will spin around, and cars sliding in, hard impacts. One car upside down over and over. The second week in a row, we have a car tumbling in practice. That's the 43 of somebody. I have no clue who that is. And he's putting a Newman. Yeah, we're gonna roll the AMR safety crew over to that to Donovan Hogan. Horrible accident off of turn number 4. Making it through the chaos is Jacob Malone. He's made his return back to FedEx Racing. Started back last week at Chicagoland, ran both Xfinity and Cup, and he'll be back doing the same thing this week here at Michigan.
Yeah, he's on a part-time deal with Ethan Trendler Racing, so you should expect him to be in multiple of these races going forward.
We'll get loose and spin the car out hard into the outside wall. She'll cycle through the field. I believe this is Aston Miller in the 44. His home track, looking for redemption off of last night's iCar race. He had a shot, but got a little bit tight, made contact with Braden Hunsaker, and took out about all but 2 cars in the field. And yeah, we're gonna pan away for a little bit, but a little loose moment, but Aston Miller, I believe he won the season 2 race here as well. So Aston Miller looking to return back to victory lane here in FedEx. Side by side, Brody Webster and Cole Wilson. And we mentioned it before, Cole Wilson really struggles at skill tracks, especially with tire saving. And yeah, he's gonna look to finally win again in a somewhat skill track.
I think also at Kansas last season, tire saving did play a factor into him getting 4th out of 4 in the championship finale of last season's race. As practice comes to a close with around 2 minutes remaining, although still has that fastest lap with 39.24, still Cole Wilson with 39.3. But after those two, it's pretty close on the timing board, with 7th and 3rd all being relatively in a 10th of each other. So as we have a hard hit, Richard Sherry on top of that 8 car.
As Brody Webster's losing control. But anyway, I was going to say behind that pack, but now in front of him, I believe if Brody Webster's still alive, will work his way to it. The 14 of Tyler J. Stevenson. It's been a while since he's been in the field, as we are not making it our way to him.
I think the last time was at that huge wreck.
Yeah.
In turn 3.
Yeah, he had a great race at Atlanta, doing exactly what he needed to do, but unfortunately got involved in that wreck and hasn't made his way back up to the front. As unfortunately we cannot get a shot at him, and we do need a nice little refresh on the cars here. We're getting reports of.
As that is the blank car overcorrecting at him.
Yeah, I mean, magically everyone's turned into a test car, so don't mind that one. Incidents in pit road. I don't know who those two were, but congratulations. Condolences. I don't really know. As there was a massive accident in turn 3 at the end of practice. Checkered flag is out. And it's time to qualify here in Michigan. These cars will be back out on track shortly. TJ Moon has actually made it into to the lobby.
Cannot say the same for that 4th place in the points right now for Brandon T. Pfeiffer. Looks like he's going to have a big drop down in there. Maybe barely above the bubble, you know?
Yeah, sad day in America for Brandon Pfeiffer. So we get a look at cars leaving the pit road. Here's Ronan Suarez. No relation to Daniel Suarez, who actually lost his ride in real life, and Payson Lindsay has been brought to tears in a local freeway.
Ronan Suarez owns a design company. There's a lot of paint schemes. Most of his paint schemes are made by him. Very, very impressive paint schemes. Just driver's cards of professional drivers. He's done Michelin Pilot Challenge drivers. It's a very impressive side hustle. I'll give him that. He's been doing all right. He started late last season and has been slowly working himself up into the pack, and has also made a few one-time cup starts.
Kristen Herklot's in the Aero. I don't think Aero McLaren, but the Aero number 4 car, making his way around. Cole Wilson in the Bucky's car. He's gonna rip the top, trying to get a nice run for his flying lap. Justin Wright leaving the pits.
This track is a second lap qualifier, so I really do think people are not gonna push. They're gonna try to on their first lap. They're just gonna take it nice and smooth. As Richard Cheery goes almost 2/10 faster than his practice time with a 39.225. That's just insane. And William Viola currently P2 with a 39.468. As Ashton Miller just beats that with 39.455. So very close from second and below. It's looking pretty good.
Cole Wilson down the back straightaway. It's been ripping the top in 1 and 2. It's gonna dive it down to the bottom of the track. If we can make it our way to him. Off turn 4, he'll be a little bit lower than I would have thought. He's gonna dive down the front straightaway. We'll see where this puts him. P5 for Cole Wilson.
I think that's what Wilson was looking for after a pretty strong showing in practice. I think he expected a little bit more out of his lap.
Yeah, must have been eating a little bit and weighed down his cars. Jacob Malone will go P1. 39.2. Yeah, 39.2. It's going to be tough to see if anyone can beat that one. Carlos Ortiz on his lap. TJ Moon coming to the line. P7 for Moon. Justin Rout will go P10.
Jose Wilson falling slowly but surely down the order. Now down to P8, I think.
Yeah.
P8.
Unsurprising for Cole Wilson, just normally always slow. And here's Ortega, 3 and 4 now on his final lap.
Erdman goes up to 3rd.
Ortega dives down to the front stretch. Cross the line, he'll go P4.
Not bad.
Talking about Erdman, last year, in the Season 3 Xfinity Series race here at Michigan, Erdman finished in the top 5, so expect him to be running in the front for majority of the race.
Yeah, he had great pace that race. I remembered it very vividly due to some incidents I had last season there. Yeah, he was doing great. I think it was his 3rd start ever in a league, and he was running real well. And other people were faced by incidents, and he just kept it clean. Sadly, he did waste his tires a bit at the end there, burned the right rear extremely.
Oh, and
But
Brandon Pfeiffer has just made it into the lobby, missed qualifying, but
Wow.
he is here and he will have a shot to gain some points. and hopefully, for him, he'll stay in fourth.
Coming a long way up.
You saw
To
Carlos.
the pack.
You also saw Carlos Ortiz coming off turn number 4. He disappeared, ran out of time in qualifying, and it is now time for the cars to hit the grid. On the pole, we have Jacob Malone with Richard Cherry to his outside.
Very surprised about that Richard Cherry car. Thought that Painty would give bad luck due to Fernando Alonso not being able to qualify with that car. But he's proven to be a good luck charm with those type of cars. He's been good all season. He's had some strokes of bad luck, like I think at USA Speedway he had an incident. And yeah, he's been doing great this season. He's been real consistent, other than having getting involved in wrecks. He's been a real good driver. I think he's one of the title contenders definitely for this season.
Good to see that Cherry's back in that 29 car too as well. Last week it was in the 10 car or I think it was in the 11 car actually. But either way, last week, his hauler driver, who was my hauler driver for the 500, he decided he was going to drive the hauler off a cliff and lost the car. So, new hauler driver for the 29 car and made it to the track safely this week.
Not too sure what's going on with that 9 car. I mean, I think you might think he's driving a next gen or something.
Yeah, I mean, TJ Moon slid the 4 number up a little bit. Yeah, interesting sponsor placement for that 9 car. Not something you normally see with the Xfinity cars.
Not to mention the angled front, the angled front. The angled roof number on the top of the car. I know he creates his own paint schemes, but this is one of the more questionable ones, and it relates to his team with Questionable Motorsports. So, good on him.
As the cars will roll off the grid here. Just one moment here. Alright, the cars have rolled off the grid here, and how about we have a word with your pole sitter, Jacob Malone. Jacob Malone, you're on the pole, about to lead the field through the pits. How do you feel about today?
I'm feeling decent. I like the low grip feel we have here. It's pretty much ice skates, so I'm having fun.
So, do you think you can hold on with these tires? You know they've earned. You could previously everyone was loose in practice. I think people are definitely gonna have troubles with the car's looseness and saving tires. Do you think you could tackle that issue?
I should be fine. I should be fine overall. It's just you gotta be super careful and manage your tires for the first 10 laps, and then once you're in a groove, you're chilling. The big question is stage 2, because there's going to be a yellow for sure, and it's whether or not you want to wait for the second yellow to come out or take the tires on the first yellow that'll come out, because there's only 2 sets, so not a lot to do.
Yeah, definitely going to be interesting with that strategy. Jacob, we wish you good luck today.
Thank you, thank you. Have a good one, guys.
Yep, you too. Jacob Malone, your pole sitter. How about CJ Erdman starting 3rd today?
He's always shown good pace at these tracks. He's been decent. He's been great at these 1.5 miles or 2 miles since it's Michigan. But yeah, consistent driver. Got into some trouble the past 2 races, but I think he can definitely bounce back with this week.
Definitely good qualifying effort from Urban. We know track position is really important, so he's gonna have to try his best to hold on to the front. If he can do that, He should have a good chance to stay up here and maybe even win the stage.
So I just got news that Brandon Pfeiffer disconnected due to packet loss. So he is not on the track right now.
He has been struggling, and hopefully for him, he can get back into the field. But the pace car is pulling off the field. 30 cars in the Iris Hills looking to get ready to go green. The flagman waves the green flag, and we're turning him loose from Michigan. Three wide already through 1 and 2. Jacob Malone holds on to the lead. Alexander Ortega now to the outside of Richard Shuri for second.
You definitely see some tire saving already playing into effect. You got those people on the outside or other stuff trying to get past these people, trying to get more position. While some people on the inside are trying to save their tires, trying to succeed in the long run. So it's a bit of a strategy call for these drivers early on in lap 2 of 60 of this race.
Vernon Suarez caught the wall a little bit off turn 4, as multiple cars now off turn 2 catching the wall. That's a really tricky corner. Turn 2 is wall comes up on you pretty quickly, as the battle for second still continues on.
Some of the tracks you don't want to hit the wall. This is definitely one of the bigger ones. This is really important. You can easily get left if you're down on momentum. If you don't have somebody near you that can give you a little bit of an aero push or even a bump trap, it could really hurt you down the straightaway.
How about this move for the lead by Alex Ortega?
Malone's going to get thrown off the corner.
Yeah, Ortega's not going to be able to finish the move. Here comes Pfeiffer now trying to look to capitalize. And Miller now challenging Shuri. Shuri back to the inside of Pfeiffer. Here's Cole Wilson now out of nowhere on Miller to the inside.
We have 2 cars wrecked out of 4. It's going to be no caution.
I think it's going to be Landon Johnson and I think that's the 10 car.
Yeah, it's Carlos. Yeah, I just want to thank him for wrecking me.
Yeah, early on already tempers. Landon, do you mind telling us what happened there?
Yeah, we were battling pretty hard. I mean, it's lap 4. I slid up in front of him. Rear end came out a little bit, and he just hit me about 190 miles an hour.
Trouble!
Gonna save it.
He's going to save it, so it's going to be no caution, but man.
Big save for Erdman. Broke loose off turn 4, and that could have collected a bunch of them there.
No caution will be thrown due to the 3-car caution rule. It was instated this year. Oh, as there was another car. That's the 25. Was loose all the time in practice. Now it's proven that he cannot hold on to it.
Von Smith in the 25. As Pfeiffer made it back into the lobby, and he's on track, but he's multiple laps down.
Gonna have to hope for 4 cautions and no one to go a lap down just to have a hope.
See Malone opening up a little gap to the cars behind him.
We got a side-by-side battle now. Oh, nearly contact between Maddox Beard and Tyler J. Stevenson. TJ Moon trying to get into the battle now. As we said it before, Moon and Stevenson and Maddox Beard, all guys on the round back cut bubble. They're going to be looking for big days here today at Michigan and throughout the rest of the season if they want to turn their season around. Justin Ratt as well, he's been up front most of the season, but just keeps getting unfortunate situations. He won at a big track in Auto Club last time. We'll see if he can back up that win. Back up front, Richard Shuri making a move on Cole Wilson. These guys have been battling for quite a while now. Shuri will clear Wilson.
Now we're starting to hit the time where the tires are starting to give out. Drivers are starting to get looser and struggle a little bit more. So there's going to be a lot of impatient drivers around each other trying to get past each other. We saw earlier in practice a lot of cars were spitting out on runs they went on.
Oh, big move from Moon, sideways off turn 2. Almost into Stevenson, almost lost it midway through that corner, hangs onto it, and he'll continue to fight.
It's some rough racing out here. 8 laps out of 60. We've already seen 2 incidents, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. And, I mean, it's lap 8 of the race. Do you guys really think they're going to calm down, or do you think they're going to amp it up?
These guys, they're definitely going to burn off their tires, and it's going to slow them all down, make it harder for them to fight each other. As TJ Moon sliding again in the middle of 1 and 2.
Wow.
That driver's got to be careful. He's been sliding a lot, and the more slides he gets, the more that right rear is going to burn. And that's going to make it a lot harder for him to save as he keeps having those moments. So he needs to definitely cool down his tires, try to save that right rear a little bit, or it might not be too long before we see him facing the wrong direction.
Yeah, he is pushing his car to the limits.
Joseph Lewis sideways as well. Everyone back in this field sliding all around.
You can basically see everyone behind you. Oh, there's a moment. That's a 25 car again. Having contact with that Scarlet and Gray car. I think that is Koji.
That was Tristan Herklotz and Max Daffy that made contact, and Herklotz was the one who almost spun around down the front straightaway. Back up front though, but the order remains the same. Jacob Malone leads the way. 1 car sideways, that's Aston Miller.
Great save.
William Viola now will go to the inside. Make the
He's
pass.
gonna take that spot.
As we have Richard Shuri trying to work on Alexander Ortega.
Malone is drifting that car. Holy. As you see Ortega start to close in the gap on Malone.
Here comes Shuri now. He's looking to the inside. He wants to get around Ortega. Shuri was one of the drivers who was upset by some of the maneuvers by Ortega, as you see him blink out for a moment. They're all clean for the moment though. Shuri's still blinking. And those two being side by side, that's all that's doing is helping Malone. As Shuri realizes that, he's gonna back out of it. Here comes Cole Wilson now looking to the inside.
You can definitely tell who's pushing and who isn't. Because you can see, for example, Ron Suarez right there, you can see how much of an angle his car is and how much he's having to rely on that right rear. I mean, they're practically sliding. That's just insane. I mean, it's the fastest line, it's the fastest way to get around this track, and it just burns so much of your tires. I mean, it's definitely going to be a tire-saving game, even if there's a caution about 30. As you can see,
almost spun around the 76. That would have summed up route season so far, trying to make a pass and almost got taken out.
As Ortega is to Malone's back bumper, he's going to make a move to the inside.
Side by side now, going into turn 1. Here comes Richard Shuri. Will he be able to make a move? Ortega dives to the inside. Malone's going to try to power around the outside. Ortega loose for a moment, as they're going to stay side by side down the back straightaway.
That draft playing a key factor. Stride draft him extremely hard on that back stretch. As he gets past him, Jacob Malone's looking for an over-under. Trying to get down on the inside. I assume he's going to try to make a lunge here in turn 1 after he gets some needed draft on the front stretch. You can see Richard Cherry is pushing him. He's helping out. As Richard Cherry makes that move on Malone, in turn 1. He's still on him. Alexander Ortega is...
Cherry's losing the car for a moment. And here comes Jacob Malone back to the inside. All of these guys up front sliding all over the place. Everyone really sliding all over. It's a complete opposite from how it was last season. Everyone's just a lot slicker of a track.
You see William Viola closing in on these guys. He currently is the fastest out of these top 5 cars. See if he can make a move as these laps go on.
Here's Malone back to the inside, leaning on the 32 of Ortega. Cherry's gonna drive to the outside of him.
You can definitely tell Viola playing the smart game here, just watching these guys fight, waiting for the right time to strike, and just in general trying to keep his car intact. This top 4 are being real aggressive. Soon enough, it may end bad for one of these drivers.
Ortega down the straightaway, trying to break the draft out of the cars behind him. It's gonna slide in front of Malone. Malone's having a bobble. And here comes Wilson to the inside. William Viola has now gotten around Richard Cherry. He's ended the battle. Cole Wilson and Jacob Malone having a moment. Made a little bit of contact through 3 and 4.
Now, these 4 battling are just letting Ortega just pull away from him. I don't know if they want to battle this harder. They're just going to lose Ortega.
Not to mention the major championship implications if Ortega gets 10 full points, because they need to catch up. If they want a chance at least winning the regular season title, they need to catch up and they need to work together and they need to have some teamwork involved in this.
Richard Cherry over the radio, not happy with Jacob Malone battling with these guys, letting Ortega pulling away. And
Now
Malone's
Cole
gonna fire
Wilson's
back at
clear.
him.
And he's looking to catch up to Ortega.
Both the CWR cars in this race are currently 1-2.
Yeah, unfortunately, Brody Webster, the 3rd CWR car, nowhere to be seen. Potentially a crew chief change will be had to made mid-race. As we got cars weaving all over the back straightaway, Tyler Stevenson got out of line. Laps into the run, Alexander Ortega still leads Cole Wilson behind him. Jacob Malone now trying the outside.
Ortega's in the wall.
Big time. He dropped out of line, he'll pull back in line. And Malone looks to the inside. Now to the inside of Viola, and they're right back to how they were, just racing each other instead of trying to race to catch Ortega. Big slide from Malone into Cole Wilson. Sideways is the 45. They hang on to it, and here comes the 2.
Now is Viola. They all slot back in. I was thinking Viola may make a lunge there for 3 wide. As he makes a lunge on Malone. Oh, getting a bit loose. He's going to slide up that 45 car into Richard Cherry's path. Viola's going to have to probably drop back here as Richard Cherry tries to make another move down the inside. And Viola sticks with the outside.
And if you look at that right rear quarter panel of Jacob Malone, he has a little bit of damage from that contact of Wilson that's going to hurt his handling on his car, make him a lot looser than he already was. And As we said it, with all these cars sliding around, that is the exact opposite of what you want now, right now.
Your winner from last season, Cole Wilson, is currently eating to Ortega's lead just a little bit.
Of course he's leading. As he had Jacob Malone back in the further back in this pack now, sliding off turn 4, and he's one of the cars that cannot wait for this stage so he can try to fix some of that damage. Behind Malone though, closing in, is Justin Rout in the 76. He's driven through the field and he might have a shot at the stage one if these guys can get back to each other and start battling again. He was one of the cars to beat on the long run last time we were at a big track in Fontana. And he's seeming to be one again.
Most of these cars look out of control. I bet all these drivers cannot wait to get a pair of fresh tires from these cars.
They have to be careful with their tire sets though. We heard Malone tell us earlier, there's only 2 sets for this race. Obviously, everyone's going to take one at the stage. But if we get a call set halfway through stage 2, it's going to be interesting to see if they take tires or rely on a late race caution. As Rout gets around the 45 of Malone.
Coming to 5 to go to a stage break. Actually 6 to go to the stage break. Ortega is slowly pulling. It's only 4/10, but he is slowly pulling. As Cole J. Wilson is still in second, as it's slowly kind of pulling away towards each other. Finally, after almost 25 laps of straight battling them, and as you can see, there is 2 cars lap traffic about to catch up to the leaders are about to catch up to. You can see from this angle about how many cars are spreading out. You can see some occasional 2 or 3 car pass, but it's getting pretty spread out.
Cherry trying to close in on Cole Wilson now. It's gonna move a small lane above him, try to get a little clean air and get a run off the top.
I think I hit the wall just a little bit.
So on board with the Tour Viola.
You can see how these drivers are just nursing this car around the corner. I mean, look at him. Look in front of this 2 car. All these cars are sliding around. He looked pretty stable during that corner, though.
The visor came with Richard Cherry for a moment. Cole Wilson blocks to the top on Richard Cherry. And they have closed in on the lead of Ortega.
Ortega's starting to slide around a little bit. The last lap we had was pretty messy. I believe he hit the wall out of 2 and 4, which caused these 2 behind him to catch all the way back up. Cole Wilson is desperate for these points. He's just right behind Ortega in the standings. He's going to want this 10 points and the playoff point over Ortega, so he's going to try as much as he can to get this.
Richard Cherry seems to be pretty content right now behind Cole Wilson, trying to help them both get up to Ortega. We did mention before Cherry was upset with Malone for racing so hard once Ortega caught the lead.
Wilson sideways. Richard sideways off the corner.
Yeah, and there goes all the time they've gained.
Cherry's going to really want to see Ortega and Wilson get side by side. Hopefully they make a mistake, get into each other, and Cherry can just fly right by him, easily cruise to a stage.
Ortega, big slide through turn 4. That's going to help their lead. And here comes William Viola in the 2 car.
Just outside of this little pack, you have Justin Rout, who's only about 9/10 of a second back. He's looking for a stage win.
Okay, Wilson still getting sideways there.
Yeah, you look to the inside. Ortega might have caught the wall. All of them will fly out of line. And Cole Wilson looks to the inside.
The battle is on for the stage one.
Indeed, it's Cole Wilson sideways. Richard Sherry almost into the wall. The slide up in line as we take the white flag in the stage. Side by side now for second. Richard Sherry thinks better of it. Cole Wilson will slot in line. And they're going to go 3 wide now off 2.
Oh, a little contact.
Oh wow. Not to mention you have these lap cars, Wyatt Youngblood. They may be, if they may catch up to him at the line. They're gonna be fighting for the not lose a lap. See OJ Wilson catching up to Wyatt Youngblood.
Let the leader go, which is definitely not what Piper wanted to see. Cars getting lapped at the stage.
And at the line, a photo finish for third. I believe Richard Sherry just barely edges out right as he runs into the back of Cole Wilson, actually. Almost caught the wall as the caution comes out. So we're gonna go take a look at that contact, actually. Yeah, Cole Wilson just slams on the brakes right in front of Richard Sherry and almost caused an accident after the stage.
There's definitely a time and place to check up, and that is not the right time and not the right place.
Both drivers lucky to escape that with minimum contact. That definitely could have been tragic.
While these drivers are pacing, we saw all of these drivers during the green flag running, sliding around. I'm not sure if our ticker person is here, but the track temperature of this is, I believe, in the 115 to 125 range, which is really hot for a racetrack.
It has actually cooled down since practice. It was around those temps. Currently it is, we're reading 94 degrees track temp, 74 in the air.
Definitely a lot cooler than it was at the beginning of the session. We saw in practice the top temp be in the 115 to 120 range. Gone down. The cloudiness is definitely helping.
As drivers, I think, into the pit this time by. I assume every single person in the field will be going, except Wyatt Youngblood, of course. Ortega will lead them into the pit lane, followed by Cole J. Wilson and Richard Sherry. Let's see if they can get I hope they can get a good pit stop by, as those cars who qualified in the back will be coming in their boxes. Cole J. Wilson hoping for a good stop. It's a good entry. Same goes for Alexander Ortega. Oh, and he misses his box by a small margin. That's going to cost him around 3 positions due to how everyone in front of him and behind him had a great pit stop. You see that 45 car had a bit of an angle coming in. Alexander Ortega barely misses out on that first place off of pit road as Cole Wilson barely edges him to get the win off pit road. It's a bit weird though how he missed the pit box and he almost won the race off pit road, which tells me some people may have made some different strategy calls. He may have taken less fuel, may have taken 2 tires. Yeah. Cole J. Wilson gonna start P1 for the stage 2 beginning.
That one who's surprised me this race was William Viola. He hasn't made a start since Daytona, and he's showing great pace today, and shows speed that he can just win the race. So,
As we're gonna try to catch a word of Cole Wilson whenever he can build up the confidence level to make it into the waiting room channel.
I can go in there. I'll go scout.
Okay, so about that interview of Cole Wilson. Oh, never mind. Cole Wilson has made it in. You've won the race off pit road, finished second in the stage. How are we feeling for the rest of this run?
Yeah, feeling pretty good. I feel like I was one of the fastest cars at the end of last run. Just got a little loose off before, so I couldn't go for the stage win. But great start. Started 11th, was up to 5th by lap 2. Feel like we have a shot to go back to back.
And I think I might know why your car was faster towards the end of the run. You were starting to catch Ortega, which means you were eating into his gap, which means your car went downforce.
I was going to talk about that. You can definitely see everyone's loose. You're keeping your car straight. Is there any sort of lead weights in there? I know you weigh 175. I know you weigh 175.
0 to the end of that one. 750.
Do you think your fatness? I know you're featured on the fat pool charts for every single time on the fat pool charts. That's
hey, we're restarted. Bye bye.
Pace car's back off. Big Back Wilson will go back into his team channel. The field rolls back into the restart zone. And we're back underway from Michigan.
Good loss for that 22.
Gets a commanding start compared to the outside line. I must have had an issue because that's just an insane loss.
Yeah, must have pulled a Goat Stacy from last season, starting in 4th gear. As one car way up the track loose.
We have a wreck in the back.
There's a huge wreck back.
The field. Carlos Ortiz is around. I believe that the 64 of George Caffrey's. As our race control was sleeping on the caution button, caution will wave.
Carlos Ortiz, the 25 car, the 64, all cars that were previously involved in the accident at the start of the race. As you can see, 3 wide out here. And just Carlos Ortiz just gets turned by that. I think that is Johnson.
Those 2 drivers did have an incident in the beginning of the race, so I wonder if that could be in a retaliation effort.
No, it was not retaliating.
Yeah, it just looks like dirty air just lit up. Thankfully, not a lot of cars have been damaged from that, as you can see, that 25 car. Hood damage, but I know the hood can be replaced in short notice. It's not anything major. I don't think anyone's going to be taking out the race from that incident.
Oh, and then, yeah, multiple different incidents there.
As Wyatt Youngblood almost barely misses that wreck. Full throttles it. As you know, Wyatt Youngblood has a case of arc brake, so not surprised he full throttled it, but very lucky to make it out of there.
Yeah, almost slammed into his teammate Caffrey's. Extremely lucky in that THD Designs Toyota Supra.
Now with that yellow, the 77 car is gonna be able to get another one of his lots back. Pfeiffer is able to get one more with the wave around. So he's only gonna be 2 down now. He's gonna need 2 more yellows.
Very good strategy call by him to stay out, because he probably knew about how rough that start was and how many people had incidents. It was just bound to happen. Some more cars with most of the cars that had damage comes down pit road. Not gonna be that long for the 10 car. Same goes with Landon Johnson.
No, 7 minutes.
Oh wow. Didn't look that bad on the screen. Yeah. I think all cars can eventually get back out on track. So Landon Johnson, since we have you in here, are you planning on slowly repairing the car as the race goes on, or are you just gonna get it out of the way?
No, we're just gonna send it. We're just gonna repair it every time there's a caution, because there's gonna be cautions.
And this is definitely the time for, normally when we start to see a bunch of cautions come out in the FedEx League. We're closer to the finish. A lot of guys pulling desperation moves, trying to get to victory lane and end up wrecking the car in the process. As we will be choosing this time by 1 to green. Cole Wilson will choose the bottom. Richard Sherry follows in behind him. Alexander Ortega, the first one to take the top with Justin Rout behind him in the 4th place spot.
damn.
Maddox Beard in the top 5.
And that 4th car drove right through the middle. That would be an AOL if we did.
Cole Wilson, Alexander Ortega, 2 CWR cars, front row, Richard Sherry, Justin Rout, row 2. And Maddox Beard, we talked about him earlier, needing a good run. He's in the top 5. Also, he had a great run last time we were at a 2-mile track in Fontana. These big tracks seem to be one of his strong suits. As the pace car pulls back off into the pit lane, field will tighten back up into the restart zone. And we're back underway from Michigan.
Oh, Wilson with a really good start.
Here comes Malone, top of 3 already. He's gonna back out of it on his teammate Rout. Ortega slides up the track. Rout's gonna try to make it look 3. Couldn't quite get there.
All racing relatively clean as of now. There is
All this is just letting Cole Wilson pull away by about 3/10. Series clear. He's pulling away from the melee a little bit. But behind his top 2 is just a hornet's nest.
Jacob Malone, that 45 car, still has some damage to his right rear. It's going to be interesting if he believes that's not going to harm him too much. It's going to be interesting to see if he can keep up.
Not to mention, that 94 car, CJ Erdman, has caught back up to the lead path, currently behind that 8 LJC. So tries to make it 3 wide.
There's going to be contact! Through goes to Erdman in the 94!
He's determined, definitely, to get a good finish, as he should.
Made a 3 for 1 in turn 3 and 4. He's going to look to the inside of the 2 ETR cars, the 45 and the 76.
Slide up.
Hey,
A little loose.
Big moment. He's going to slide in front of the 2. The
Here he
2's
comes to the
into
inside
wall,
of
almost
Wilson.
wrecking.
That's going to be major road damage for that car that hit the wall. I couldn't catch that number, but that's going to be racing factor for that person in the wall.
And Braden, you said it, Shuri, back to the inside. Wilson sliding. Ortega was looking to the top in the middle of 3. He's not going to get there. He's going to push his teammate Wilson down the front straightaway.
As we got a car coming in the pit lane this time.
That is the 25.
Oh, Rod!
Evan Smith! Rod sideways and into the wall! Rod crashes hard in front of the field. No caution so far. We'll stay green, and caution comes out.
That's day done for him. As you can see, there was gray smoke, I think, coming out of his engine. I think it seems to be fine. Definitely day's done for him. I'll be extremely surprised as we look back onto the replay here. Looks like it's major contact with 14 car, and then
Dark cloud continues to rise over Justin Rout's season. As I believe, I don't even know how many times now he's been wrecked out of a good finish.
Riding on with Tyler J. Stevenson, yeah. I think he just probably miscalculated it. Tried to send it down the inside, and as you can see, it clearly did not work especially for Justin Rott. Sad to end his day. He's been running top 10 for the entire race, hanged on to it, but just CJ Ehrman adds the final blow to his race. Comes down across the track. Very lucky that he didn't come across that, I think, like 7-car pack back there. May have had issues with his brakes. I understand it. I saw his axle brakes, so he's very lucky no one else came down with him. As I think no one should be pitting this time. CJ Ehrman does, obviously, due to probably nose damage. Same goes with that. I think that's the 88 car.
Like we've been talking about every caution, Pfeiffer in the 77 is going to get another one of his laps back. He's now only 1 lap down. So one more caution and he's right back at this race.
I'm sure of how aggressive we've been throughout this race so far. He definitely will get that last lap back.
It's definitely great to see from him. Having issues with starting the race late, like Brady Hunsinger said, he had packet loss, he had a disconnect, and yeah, it's great to see him slowly crawl back onto that lead lap and maybe get a good points day if there's even more corners out here.
It's now 17 to go. We now have, after that wreck, Tyler Stevenson actually benefited, now in the top 5. Got around William Viola, Ronan Suarez in 7th, and TJ Moon in 8th. So new contenders moving up, moving their way up through the field.
It's going to be interesting to see the drivers that made those piss-offs. I believe it was 7 to 8 cars that pitted there. It's going to be interesting to see if their tires matter as much as we think they're going to, and if they can get back to the field within 15 laps.
Most of these people in the bottom half of the top 10 been running pretty decent this race. They've been all around top 15, just slowly crawling up to the front of the pack. Definitely some underdogs in here, like you said. Roan Suarez, Viola has always been running up there as well. DeFayette, P11, we don't count him out. And also TJ Moon coming after a few penalties. I think he had a few EOLs, especially from USA Speedway when he had an altercation with another driver. Yeah, they all need good point stays here, and I think they can definitely be done if they just keep it smooth and don't wreck.
Yeah, Matthew White, how do we feel about that 9 of TJ Moon?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say what I want to say about him on the broadcast, but he's got a slid forward number. He's moved his way up through the field during this race, up to 8th. And he just wants to put himself into a spot to win or get a good finish here.
Slid forward number and moving forward through the field. Maddox Beard, though, however, lost 5 spots since the last restart. Not what he wants to see on that cut line. As remember, I believe only 17 cars will score points today. So if you're 18th on back, no points, pretty much pointless for you to show up. Pace car back off the, out of the way of the leaders. Once again, a CWR front row. Inside lane stacks up quite a bit. Green flags back in the air.
As Ortega.
Oh, Stevenson! Big
Hard in the wall.
Stevenson.
We're going to stay green. He's out the way.
There was an altercation on the radio. I think before the end of stage 1, they were chatting. I didn't get to hear what they said. They were chatting to each other. They were battling real hard at the end of the stage, and maybe that's the reason why. We can't really say anything right now. We don't know. We barely know what happened. We only saw one angle, but yeah, if he definitely was mad at him, he definitely got his word. I think they learned his lesson.
Suarez did apologize and say it was on him, as here's Ortega on his car owner, Wilson, for the lead. Wilson will try to get the over-under on him. As those stay side by side down the back straightaway, Justin Vaught has, as well as Stevenson, both will pack up and go home. Wilson still on the inside of
Contact
Ortega.
in the back.
Wilson clears, but now Ortega back to the inside, not giving up for the lead.
As you see in the background, they're like huge, I would say 15-car battle for like 15th, I think. I mean, it's insane. Maybe Brand 2-5 will get on the lead lap if anything happens back there.
Wilson tried to get around the outside of Ortega as we got cars in the wall.
Looks to be Rowan Suarez again. He's hit that wall multiple times in stage 1. And still, with relatively newer tires since we've been running some caution cars, he still hasn't found that line.
Here's Wilson back on the back bumper of Ortega. Here comes Chewy now to the inside of Malone for third. Chewy's trying to get back into this battle. He'll clear Malone for the moment. Malone's going to look back to the inside. Not going to have any run. Here comes Wilson now looking to the inside of Ortega. Cars diving out of line. Ortiz all the way below the line. As here comes Chewy into the back of Wilson.
As you can see, CJ Erdman and TJ Moon. CJ Erdman owns the racing team, is a co-owner of the racing team, and TJ Moon racing. They are working together. They are slowly catching up as these 5 cars still battle very aggressively. They were 3 wide there at the moment in 1-2, while Alexander Ortega is having to pull off a crazy defense, fighting off 3 cars behind him. They're all slotting behind him.
Look at Shuri, went around the outside of 2 cars in turn 1 and 2, and now he's to the inside for the lead in turn 3.
You know, as I mentioned before the race, Maddox Beard needs points, and look at him in the top 5, contending with these top 4 drivers for the win.
Now, we've been talking about this top 5 for this majority of this run, but if we look at 6, CJ Erdman, he's the first car on these fresh tires. He has a chance to go all of these guys, I believe, 6 to 7 fresher tires.
Fury all over the door of Ortega down the back straightaway. Ortega sends it on into the corner. Shuri's gonna have a big run off the top. Ortega just clears up, and here comes Malone now gonna look to the inside of Shuri for second. And here comes Erdman to the inside of Maddox Beard.
You can clearly see the tire difference is extreme. 2 laps ago, CJ Erdman was with TJ Moon back there, and I really think it's around half to a 3/4 of a second now of a gap, and that's in 2 laps, and we got 9 to go. I can't imagine what he can do now.
Malone now to the outside of Wilson. Wilson had a small little tight moment, had to back out of the gas. And a big block from Ortega on Malone. Malone's still gonna fit his car through the outside. Ortega somehow got back clear as Malone's gonna send it on into the corner. And here comes Erdman now on the fresh tires behind them.
There's gonna be contact.
Malone sideways for a moment.
Here comes Erdman.
3 wide. Cole Wilson's gonna push his teammate, but Erdman on those 4 fresh tires sends it onto the inside.
Not gonna clear up. They're gonna be 3-1.
Oh,
Into the wall.
Into the wall! Hard hit for Jacob Malone.
And now side by side, Erdman and Cole Wilson. Ortega looked to help his teammate for a moment. Big block from Erdman.
That may have been netcode. It looked like they had no contact, but the physics said otherwise. It looked like there was contact. They're still battling up here with 7 to go. Could be a great finish. It's just Jacob Malone running great all day. Well, days were ruined by netcode.
Ortega just uses Erdman up and throws him at the racetrack and shuts the door.
Erdman with a huge run, but he's sliding all over the place. Big block from Ortega. And Erdman, I don't believe he's going to take that if that happens again.
Erdman knows he has to go. He has 7 more laps to get up to the leader, and he wants to make the best of these 4 fresh tires.
With those 4 fresh tires, they click, 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 click until there's barely any difference. So you need to maximize them as soon as possible, or else you're just going to end up like the cars around you, basically old tires. So he needs to get like fast as possible past Ortega. And I think he may do that right here. On the inside, coming on the exit of 4. Contact! Did not take that aggressive blocking lightly for lap 4. As he's going to try to block Richard Cherry, give him room on the outside. As he has
Erdman
5 to go.
Erdman knows this is one of his best shots to win in the FedEx League, and he's trying to make the most of it.
Look at him driving that car sideways, going to cut off Cherry. Huge block from Erdman.
Cherry's not going to be happy with that one. Let's see what he does in the 3.
Props to Cherry though.
And Suarez! Look at Suarez to the inside of Cherry now.
Those two, Suarez and CJ, are on the same team. There may be some team strategy going on right now. Clear
They're
high racing
also
cars.
on 4 fresh tires.
And a
Not
big
fresh
block,
anymore, but
big block from Suarez on Ortega. Contact now from those two.
Definitely maybe team order, that's for sure. Both of them did the same strategy call. Probably are in the same voice chat. As CJ Erdman is slowly catching up to Cole J. Wilson. Will he have enough time to make that move on Cole J. Wilson? You know Cole J. Wilson's aggressive. You know he wants that win. As you say, he's a Superfeeder merchant. He wants some credibility to know and to let the fans know that he is a genuine driver and you can get it done. While CJ Erdman, trying to get his first win in FedEx, was close in Friday Night Lobbies, I think, around 3 weeks ago. As he tries to block Richard Cherry, I don't really think he's going to get that far. He needs someone to work with.
Wilson's last Xfinity win came here last year, and he is looking to get another win and lock himself into the playoffs. Erdman is looking for his first career win ever, so both of these drivers really would like to win, and Cherry is right behind.
Erdman with the run.
Big
He's gonna take it to the inside.
Wilson tries to cut him off. Erdman is going to muscle his way through. Wilson up the track, and here comes Cherry.
Cherry's going to get that run off the backstretch.
One. Erdman to the lead, but Cherry has a run.
Coming to 2 to go. He's going to have to do a crazy defensive masterclass as he blocks him on the outside.
And Cherry threw it to the inside. All the way clear.
Erdman got extremely loose on the entrance there. He's going to lose a lot of time. He's going to have to gain a lot to have a chance as we're on the backstretch with 2 to go. 6 more
Multiple
corners until
drivers.
the end of the race.
Multiple drivers not happy with Erdman after what he did to Cole Wilson.
That's not the only thing they're mad at him for, but here comes Ortega and on CJ as we're going to come across to take the white flag one more time around Michigan International Speedway. What can Cherry do? Ortega all over the back bumper of Erdman. Ortega stakes it on in, slides up now on Erdman.
Erdman
And then
goes
there's slide off of turn 4, or turn 2. Wilson out to the inside. Erdman all out of safe, and Richard Cherry's going to pull away.
Here goes
Here
Rowan
comes
to
Suarez to
P3.
the inside. And Ortega is going to, oh my, what a set by Ortega. All the way up to the wall. Off turn 4, Cherry will win the race. Ronan Suarez will come across second, Ortega third, and Cole Wilson will barely hang on to fourth. Maddox Beard fifth, the points that we were talking about as we got tempers wrecking under to the race.
You definitely tell Alexander Ortega, oh man, that 88 car hit hard. Oh man. You could definitely tell Alexander Ortega was extremely unhappy with CJ Erdman on the way he sent him in turn 3. It looked to me like there was a net code issue as well as he just corrected. I mean, he basically corrected back into the wall. Still a great points day finish for P6 CJ Erdman. definitely got some tensions around him. I don't think people respect him the same. Been a relatively clean driver for his entire career. As Richard Cherry comes to the line, burning it down here at Michigan. And Rowan Suarez up to P2. Avoided all of those mad people and aggressive people. Ran his race and he got P2. Great points day for him because he missed, I think, around 2 races. This is definitely going to help him in his playoff fight. Not to mention Maddox Beer. Like Braden Hunsinger said, he's been having issues for this season, and yeah, he's been doing. He's gonna be pretty happy, I think, with the top 5.
Richard Cherry finally will overcome some adversities he's faced through the season. He'll pick up his first win since Daytona, and he'll do a poleless victory lap around the track. Yeah, we saw multiple drivers upset with each other as they just completely let loose off of turn 2 on the cooldown lap.
Definitely broke the curse with that paint scheme. We were talking about it earlier when they were on grid. Started second, been great all race, battled with the leaders all race. I think he's one of the few people that deserve to win this race. I mean, he's been great all race. He's done everything he needed to do, and now he's going to be celebrating in the finish line with checkered flag.
He'll come back to a stop. Drive back to victory lane. As he'll hop out of the vehicle, start celebrating with his crew, and that'll wrap up our on-track action now from Michigan. As we'll get ready to hand it over to our post-race crew for post-race interviews.
I'll do post-race. Why not?
Yeah, maybe at some point we'll let Ethan Schindler back out. Maybe for tomorrow, FedEx race.
I didn't mean to interrupt anyone. There was barely anyone talking, so I might as well add on to it, you know?
Yeah. Well,
Because
as we said, nice try, Ethan Schindler, and we hope you enjoyed from Michigan and handing
Ethan
it over
Schindler.
to the post-race crew.
Oh, wow. All right, I'm doing post-race interviews. I guess.
Hello,
Ethan,
hello.
do you want me to do post-race or no? I'll dip if not. I don't think it's Mike's. All right, I'm going to go then, since I don't know if I'm supposed to be here.
Hello, hello. Hey. So Richard Cherry, I should say, you finished first here at Michigan, and yeah, how does it feel to get past all that chaos for about half the race and somehow manage to pull it off here?
I don't know where is Ethan, but I mean, great win. Finally, a proper win. After Daytona and all that happened there with TA and everything. It's pretty good. But see, he didn't need to do all that. I mean, he could have done 1,000 better decisions than whatever he did in the race. So he got the fresher tires. He could have just not dived into every corner. So nice win, but yeah, doesn't take away the fact that I should probably be thankful that CJ, yeah, but I don't know.
Yeah, you guys. I think 2 weeks from now, you guys go to Rockingham. How are your guys' expectations there, and how is this momentum going to carry you throughout the rest of the week?
I mean, Rockingham is gonna be whoever can beat whoever can beat Aiden Donahue, and if anybody doesn't, then it's gonna be the fight for second. So happy to get the win here, and I hope I can get a great result at Rockingham.
All right. Well, thank you, Richard, and good win here, and hopefully we'll see you there for Rockingham.
All right, thank you.
Suarez, I think you finished second or third, somewhere
Yeah.
around there. How do you feel coming home at one of the fastest tracks ever built, and coming home with I think second place?
Yeah, it feels great because we had that 12th place finish at Chicagoland, and then in that interview I said that I felt like I was gonna be quick here, and I got that momentum, and yeah, we did pretty well. We qualified 8th, and then we finished, I believe, 7th in the first stage, so we got some stage points there. And then in that final stage, after all of those two cautions, I believe it was 2 cautions.
About,
Um,
yeah, 2 cautions.
yeah, I just had like the run of my life, man. It was just like completely insane. My car was hooked up to the track. There was no wheel spin at all. I was just it was just a rocket ship. And I feel bad for the 14, but because he was fast all day, and he got spun out on that final restart. But he turned down on me. I can't really do anything there. But
Like I virtually
yeah,
with CJ all in. What?
um, overall it was a really good day. I had actual speed, and yeah, it was so great. Um, yeah. And then coming home with a second place finish after CJ and the other guy Ortega, they were battling it out, and I just took advantage of their situation and managed to come home and runner up.
Oh, yeah, I mean, you finished second, and you guys go to Rockingham next. I think 2 weeks from now. So how do we feel going to Rockingham? How is this momentum going to take you throughout the week?
I think that this momentum is definitely gonna get me for Rockingham, and I think that because of that momentum for Rockingham, I might try to see if I can experiment a little bit with my driving style, because I know that this track you have to be very, very light with that gas pedal, and it's like you have to be very, very conservative on your tires. So I think that for Rockingham, tire conservation is definitely there, but also I think I should be a lot more aggressive due to that high banking, and Yeah, I think it might translate to how I run in Charlotte. So we'll see how it goes.
All right. Well, nice win. I mean, not nice win. Nice second place finish here, and hopefully, you can get a. Hopefully, you can find your way in Victory Road, Victory Lane, I should say, at Rockingham. But good run overall. We hope to see you at Rockingham.
All right, thank you so much.
I'm not. They're dragging me. They're dragging me. I'm not joining. I'm not trying to ruin it.
Just mute then.
No, I'm just saying they're dragging. So I'll just stick here, and I'll mute. I'll stay on mute.
Okay. Ortega, you finished third here at Michigan, and had looked like you had a pretty good battle overall with the leaders, and you had a pretty good race. So just talk to me how that race went for you and how you guys did overall.
Went pretty well. It's nice to kind of finally finish one of these out. Just with all the wrecks we've been having this season, with Auto Club and what track was that? Chicagoland. But no, it went pretty well. Stage one went green the whole way, which I was really happy to see. Um, did a pretty good job taking care of my tires. I just needed a chance to cool them down there at the end. I never really got it, and so it was super slidey. But percentages on the treads were great. And so I felt pretty good going to stage two, but we just never got the long green flag run I would have hoped for. And that last caution, I really thought about coming in pit road, putting fresh tires on it, but I didn't want to be like the only person to pit. Looking back on it, CJ was able to drive through the field both literally and metaphorically to get up there with the tires. So I do kind of wish we made that call, but it is what it is. Drove pretty well, got the lead there, and then CJ ran Malone out of a groove up the track into me, and I had nowhere really to go. Stacked us all up, and I just lost all the track position. CJ made it really hard to get back up there. So
Yeah, but overall, you still come out here third, which is quite honestly probably a good spot to finish, especially at Michigan. And you guys go to Rockingham, I think, 2 weeks from now. How are you guys think you're gonna do at Rockingham?
um, I don't have Rockingham. So
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Well, that was Ortega. He finished his third here, and thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Next up should be Cole Wilson, I think. So, Cole, you finished fourth here, had somewhat of a decent battle with everyone in the top five. Ultimately finished fourth, just a little bit away from third. So, talk to me how your race went, and what you could have done better to hopefully, possibly got in a better spot and a better finish.
Well, I feel like we kind of did everything right there until CJ Erdman with 3 to go just does a slider that was never gonna work. I don't know. I gave him 2 lanes. He's completely. He would have hit the wall by himself if I wasn't there. Completely used me up, puts me in the wall. That's what really took me out of the race. But we had a really fast Bucky's Chevrolet. Led a lot of laps. Finished second in the stage, so we did get a good points day. But it's really unfortunate when I feel like we definitely could have won that race and was sitting in a good spot when TJ just did not need to make that move.
Yeah, but you guys overall, you guys ran all the way. Probably you probably didn't drop out of the top five for most of that race, but you guys go to Rockingham, I think, in 2 weeks. How do you guys expect to finish there, and how do you guys plan to practice for one of the weirdest tracks on the schedule?
Yeah, I enjoy Rockingham. Just gotta save my tires and be there at the end.
All right, well, that was Cole Wilson. Thank you for your time. Hopefully, we see you at Rockingham.
Thank you.
Okay. Next should be Maddox. If not, it would be I don't know who that'd be. Just put Brody Webster in here, I guess. Joseph Lewis, you finished 10th overall in the race. How do we think about that race, and how do you think we did there overall? and you got a top 10. So that's a good start for you guys. And yeah, that was a pretty good race for you.
Hey, it was a very fun race. Definitely had it on the long runs. I was able to run up to the top 10 once about the halfway point where everybody's tires starting to give. Sadly, we had that caution, well, a couple cautions after the second half, and it kind of got everybody on an even playing field. But man, if I just had a few more laps, that's where I could have gone a little bit further. But yeah, this was a fun race. Car got loose, but at the same time, if you can race it like a next gen, it was very enjoyable. I wish to race at more tracks like this with this car. It was a perfect combination.
Yeah, so you guys ultimately finished 10th here, which is a really good result. You guys go to Rockingham in 2 weeks. So how do you think we're gonna do overall? At one of the weirdest tracks on the schedule, and try to pull momentum from this race because they're obviously two very different tracks.
Yeah, I guess we're going to go into the Rockingham week more of focusing it as if it's a Darlington race. I know Rockingham eats tires, so definitely going to be focusing a lot on practice and all to make sure that the tires stay at a minimum of being worn out to what the track will allow. So hopefully, if we could play that game, we can be able to maintain a top 10 position and with the point stuff, get above the cut line so that we can have a playoff opportunity.
All right, well, like I said earlier, had a really good run. Thank you for your time. Hopefully, we see you at Rockingham.
Oh yeah, fun racing with y'all.
So now, um, George, you finished 13th here. Had a pretty good run here. Finished 13th, and overall, talk to me how that race went for you guys, and just the overall race in general for you guys.
It was pretty good. We dropped back towards the start just because I was still learning the track a little bit, but once we got the hang of it, towards the end of the first stage, we ended up getting from like 26th to 15th, and then we returned by Rajan Cook, which I'm not very happy about. The fact that we recovered from it, we didn't get into a huge wreck was what I'm happy about, and we got our get back. We finished in front of him. We finished 13th. So that's all I'm very happy about. More points to add and just consistency for me to keep that playoff spot that I want so bad.
Yeah, you trying to make the playoffs for the first time, first or second time, I think, in your Xfinity career, and the Xfinity cars, and I think most of the league is going to Rockingham. So, obviously, do two very different tracks. How do we expect to perform at Rockingham? And quite literally, just like the opposite track of Michigan.
Just looking to learn, the track a little bit more and, get the race car on the track a little bit for practice. And, hopefully just to keep the consistency up. That's all I need. Just points, 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 and more points. Just keeping consistency. So I can't predict how I'll do next week, but, I'm hoping to stay consistent.
All right, well, you finished 13th overall, and we hope to see you at Rockingham.
Thank you.
All right, next up should be Brody Webster. Uh, Brody, you finished 15th at Michigan. Had a pretty good run overall. You stayed mostly around the back and made a charge up to 15th. And overall, a good race for you guys. First week back, obviously. And just talk to me how you went for that race and just the majority of the race in general.
So pretty much why we need, like why we were in the back is because, this guy Cameron Chandler was our crew chief, and this guy decides let's put on the ice tires. So we were slipping and sliding and qualifying and in the race until finally I made the call to switch to, the normal tires. And that's why we made the charge up a little bit more and, got into the points. Crash a ton Miller, didn't help me. He surprisingly didn't crash, so that could have been another spot there. But yeah, the race was pretty good for my first time running Michigan ever. So I'd say, pretty good win for the team. 'Cause all the people on our team I'm pretty sure scored points.
Yeah,
So yeah.
yeah,
So yeah.
finished 15th here, and obviously Cameron Chandler, he needs to be taken out of your team, because I guess he can't pick the right tires. But finished 15th here. Hopefully you can have a better run at Rockingham, and we hope to see you at Rockingham after I think 2 weeks time.
Okay. Hey, Ethan Trendler.
I think next would be Zane. So Zane, you finished. Let's see. 18th here, just barely not being able to get any points today. So, overall, how did we think of that race, and what do you think we could have done better to get maybe closer to like the top 15 or 17th place?
Honestly, Ashton, I don't really know. I mean, I fought hard all day, so I'm not really used to driving the Xfinity car a lot. So, I mean, it's an experience for me a little, since
Yeah,
I am
but
a rookie.
overall, you finished pretty good. You finished inside the top 20, and I think you guys had a pretty good run overall. But you guys are going into Rockingham next couple of weeks. How do we expect to perform there, and how do we think we're gonna finish?
Um, Not really sure. I mean, I would say I would probably finish around the top 20 there, but we'll just have to wait and see.
All right. Well, Dane, thank you for your time. Good job on an 18th place finish, and we hope to see you for Rockingham.
Yeah, thanks. One more thing. I just wanted to thank the people in the Elements of Justice community. They supported the decision for for when if I can just bring the series to stock car racing. I can never be more thankful for them to supporting my decisions, and I hope
All
to
right.
work with them more in the future.
Okay. Well, that was Zane Randman, and we hope to see you at Rockingham.
Ramon.
Rahman, sorry. And I think that should be all the interviews. Uh, um, Christian, you don't. Oh, you finished 23rd here. Um, had a pretty good run at Michigan, and overall had a good, solid race. So talk to me how we did, how we could have maybe gotten up into the farther parts of the field.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I felt pretty good on the long run. I think the 43 gave me some rear end damage on that last caution, and that made my car kind of slow on the final run, and just kind of handled really bad. So, overall, I mean, I'm not too mad about it because it's just a race. You know, I could have a couple bad ones and then one really good one that can fix everything. Not too far back. I don't think I'm even a full race of points back, but you know, um, proud of Max Beard for getting a good finish, and everybody else. I don't know what happened on the last lap there, but I think something happened with CJ Ehrman. I'm not entirely sure, but um, excited to go into Rockingham. It's one of my favorite tracks to race at. And yeah, that's really all I gotta say.
All right. Well, thank you for your time. Good job on a 23rd place finish, but uh, good race for you guys overall. We hope to see you at Rockingham.
Thank you. Excited to see you there.
Okay, Trundler, your turn.